Alright, so Tenkaichi chapter 50. You guys told me you wanted me to cover this series. I just caught up with the series. I really enjoyed it, so I figured we'll give it a shot. If this video does perform well, potentially I'll go back and cover some of the older fights, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that haven't read this series that want me to cover it. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and drop a like so you're more likely to be recommended to my videos in the future. So let's get it started. We pick up right where we left off at the end of the 7th round. We see Mori announce the victor. He says the winner is the Date Clan's warrior, Jinsuke. Now, I was surprised Jinsuke won this fight. I was really excited he won this fight over Hoen, because I was thinking that potentially, they were going to go with the younger kid because he has more potential to potentially flourish throughout the tournament, kind of similar with what they did with Musashi. But Jinsuke winning was awesome, and it's probably the best fight in the series. We see Jinsuke reacting to the victory, and he thinks to himself, I won, but how? How did his final thrust reach so far? Poison Inshin and his cross spear were stacking those pebbles higher and higher too, until the very last moment. Obviously talking about, them continuously surpassing each other throughout this battle. We see some of the crowd reactions, with iPad saying, great stuff Jinsuke, that was a sick win. Then we see Yagu say, that's the Tenkaichi tournament for you. A natural born prodigy who knocked on the gates of heaven lost to a man who devoted his whole life to training. Then Fuma says, this ain't nothing new. It's a dog-eat-dog world. After all, the strong will always win. Whether it's some kid, a genius, or a nobody, it doesn't matter. If they want everything in their sight, then their only choice is to become the strongest. Epic panel of Oda. And throughout that, of course, we see Ine sweating over, the loss of his prodigy, all his men, kind of grieving over the loss, because obviously they believe Inshin is dead here. They start carting away his body. He's on a stretcher, and they say, I don't believe it. Inshin, how could you lose? We were so envious of your talents, and yet you lost so bitterly. Somebody else interjects and says, Inshin fought well. It was Ine. But I got carried away polishing his talent. I couldn't build a bridge between you all and him, and I couldn't even shape him into a peerless warrior. I bear the blame for all this. Though he says, Master, but then he gets interrupted. Somebody says, Ine dono. You certainly know how to search your soul. That boy could have reached such great heights had he been blessed with the right master in the right environment. Such a shame to see his talents wasted. Somebody says, how dare you? Who are you? And Ine says, I know you. You're Ittosai. Now, Ito is like an Aizen type dude. He looks like him for one, but the way that they build this man up and the amount of shit talking that he has done throughout this entire tournament in round 1, he had better back this shit up. That's all I gotta say. But to suggest that Inshin didn't reach, insane heights for being 11 years old is absolutely almost blasphemous, bro. That man is insanely strong. But of course, that's just how much potential he has. And the crazy part is, Ito is probably right, because Inshin had to suppress himself subconsciously ever since he almost killed Ine. So if he had somebody that was truly a master that was far, far stronger than him and continued to push him past his limits, who knows where he could be at right now. Ito says, that's right, I grew quite intrigued by the Hoen prodigy when I heard that he was only 11 years old, when he opened the very same gates that Isen Okami did. The sword saint once said that opening the gates would allow you to unleash all of your human power, but that such power might even exceed the realm of what's human and destroy you. I was captivated by the possibilities. Though he says, what exactly are you trying to say? Ine says, I see. Your interest in the gates led you here, did it? I've heard you're a hedonist, a savage swordsman who would destroy even your own master. I can see why they say that now. Ito laughs and says, a savage? Well, I'll admit, I can be impatient when I've got my sights set on something. I mean, poor Inshin-kun here is an absolute wreck after the match. And yet I'm here now because I couldn't wait a moment longer to ask him about the gates. Some of the spearmen say, you want to talk to him? How? Ito continues and says, when I saw you carrying him on a board, I couldn't believe it, but you really haven't noticed, have you? Inshin's final thrust had a much longer range than any of his previous thrusts. Jinsuke wasn't expecting it to reach so far. He had to change the course of the last strike to account for it, and it chipped his blade. Though he says, he what? Wait, no. And Ito says, I suppose watching him fall must have made you all lose composure. Yagu-san and Fuma realized what happened, I'm sure. Jinsuke must have too. And at that moment, Inshin springs back awake. He unintentionally made the match-winning strike with the back of his sword. So it wasn't a clean cut, but it was obviously enough to finish the fight. The spearmen are like, Inshin, he's still breathing. Call the doctor, call quickly, hurry. Ito says, but it seems he's in no shape to talk. And then he says to the rest of the spearmen, oh well, if you want to know what happened to him, then come watch my match. Man is still talking like he's about to go ball. I'll give you your answer. Menacing ass panel here. Now we're going to get to see his opponent. That, of course, being Usagi clan representative Nagaharu. We see Maeda, one of the Usagi clan vassals. He walks up and says, "It seems the 7th match has just ended. Are you ready?" And Nagaharu says, "Oh, it's finally over, is it? Well, at least it gave me some time to warm up." And we see this mound of bodies out here in the forest. He's just been beating ass. He's just been slaughtering folks. But Maeda-sama, could you get me some more sparring partners and better ones if you please? Otherwise, I'll just run right through them again. Gal looks like a beast. And Maeda says, "Sheesh, you never tire of these blood sports, do you? It's a pain to gather all these prisoners though, you know. But I summon you back from China all for today. I need to use that strength of yours for Kagekatsu-sama." Nagaharu says, "Oh, but of course, 10 years ago when peace fell upon the land, I found myself still chasing the war. I thirsted for battle. So Usugi-sama sent me to China. I'll never forget the debt I owe him for that. It's thanks to him that I mastered a martial art which condenses thousands of years worth of wisdom. And now," but right as he's talking, he gets interrupted. Maeda says, "Hey, Nagaharu," one of the guys that he was just beating down got back up with his sword, is trying to attack him off guard. Nagaharu doesn't even acknowledge, just continues and says, "No Japanese martial art can ever fell me." And without even turning around, he just taps on this guy that's flying through the air with his sword right in his chest, and it seems like a cannon goes off and he just slams this guy. Blood flies out of this guy's mouth. It almost looks like an internal explosion took place. Nagaharu then looks proud of his work, blood all over his hand, and this guy went flying. He killed him instantly. Well, at least it looks like he killed him. Maeda says, "Nagaharu, what did you do? That giant just spat up blood like it exploded out of him." Nagaharu says, "These moves are much the same as the ones the Sword Saint used against Hino, but vanishingly few in Japan have mastered them. That's why the task falls to me, to enlighten this country and make its martial arts flourish. After all, it's still in its infancy compared to China." Now, the interesting thing about this dude is it does not seem like he uses a weapon. So this could be the first fighter we see go into the match completely unarmed. I don't know if that's the best choice against Ito, but this man does look like a demon in his own right. "Now then, Maeda-sama, let us go. I will claim the land of the rising sun for Asugi-sama, just as I promised. Watch me trample over this tournament with my martial arts prowess." This guy is implying that he has opened the gates of heaven, the gates of celestial awakening. I would expect Ito has as well because of the way he's talking, or at least he has an ability on par. I think this is going to be an epic match. And of course, with Nagaharu potentially having this gate unlocked, we're going to see how Ito can counter it. So I expect big things from this fight. Like I said, Ito's been built up from the beginning. He's like an Aizen type role. A lot of people would be shocked if he lost, but anything can happen in this fight. But let me know what you guys think about this fight. I think this is a perfect time to start covering it because this is going to be the start of the Ito fight. If you want to see more Tenkaichi content on this channel, run this video up, drop a like, watch it all the way through, share it, all that stuff, and make sure to subscribe always as well. Also, let me know which one of the previous fights you'd most be interested in me going back and breaking down, because if you guys like the content, I'll definitely put out more. See you guys in the next one. Peace.